Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Your Vibes Podcast. Everybody's got a vibe and a story to tell. Here's this one. I hope you enjoy. This episode is brought to you by Sassy Pop Boutique. Sassy Pop is a women's clothing and accessory boutique located inside Mulberry Mill in Dixon, Tennessee. Sassy Pop's fashion professionals help their clients find the right style and fit for all body types and sizes. Whether you are an extra small or a 3XL, Sassy Pop Boutique will have you looking your best for all 4 seasons. Check them out on Facebook at Sassy Pop Boutique and on Instagram at Sassy Pop Boutique Dixon. Or browse their website for 24-hour shopping and shipping anywhere in the United States at sassypopboutique.com. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Got a good one today. I'm in here with a new friend of mine, Mr. Jimi Tickle with Ollie Skateboards. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good?
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm doing just fantastic. Fan-damn-tastic. Weather's great today. It's sunny today. It's not raining. Nice long weekend, though, right?
It was a good one now. Man.
You worked a little closer on the mic. You worked a little bit.
Always work, man. It's,
okay.
The whole time. If we're gonna stop working, we got to go to the camper, and then I get out there sweeping. My wife's like, "Stop." You know what I mean? Like, we work. We like work, but we enjoy the things we do. So it's not really work, is it?
No, it's not. And I put something on Facebook the other day too that was kind of in that realm as well. Is just, what if there was really no Labor Day? Everybody just kind of woke up and did as they may and as they pleased, and fulfilled their joy in life, and as I said with Steve last week, just stayed in their lane, and were paid for it as well too.
Oh yeah,
wouldn't that be nice?
That's it's kind of. Everyone says, "What's your schedule like today?" I'm like, "You got a schedule?"
Right?
I don't even know what mine is. Like I have a plan, but it's usually interrupted by various other things at some point. It's never what I have in my head, so it's kind of cool. It makes it exciting,
It does. You just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and go whatever direction, the world pulls you in, and you seem to be a happy guy.
No, it drives my wife crazy, but I'm like, it's all right. We'll figure it out.
She's the scheduled one, isn't she?
She loves the schedule, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, it's okay. We got to, things will work out just the way they're supposed to work out. In the end, you can't control that, so.
You can't. I think there's a healthy balance between fate and karma, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And, some things are predetermined, and it's just all in how you get there, and just so long as you're a good person, good things are going to happen to you.
And karma was a big one, hard one for me as I was growing up. I was like, karma will get them. I hear that all the time, you know what I mean? Like everyone, and but there's some points I believe that you got to kind of be the hand of karma yourself. You know what I mean? It depends on, I guess, the situation. Most of them, I'm just like, just
let Mother Nature handle it.
Yeah. Something. Yeah, it'll work itself out too. But there's some points where I'm just like, no, you're not going to do that. That's
somebody's taking charge.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, because sometimes it can get a little out of control.
It can, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of, I don't know, somebody has to step in at some point in all points of life. You know what I mean? Like Dad would always say, be a leader, don't be led.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of one of those situations. Not that I'm necessarily a leader, but I'm the guy that if no one's going to speak up, I will.
Sure.
I'm just a kind of integrity, right?
Exactly. Well, and you can be a leader of your own life and your own situation. You don't necessarily have to be the leader of the free world or whatever it may be, but like if to stand up and do something is a leadership, attribute. And if you see something going on, as you said, and as we were talking before, these drama issues that, occasionally go on around town that, to kind of nip it in the bud a little bit with some, somewhat kill them with kindness.
Almost, which just don't perpetuate. Yeah. And don't put yourself in the position. Yeah. If you can help it. If you can help it.
You can help it.
It's just, people feed into it too much.
It's a drug. Drama is a drug.
Sometimes. It is, and that's just kind of. I guess people's lives are more boring than mine. I guess it's just because I really don't have time for it. By the time I sit down and have fed all the animals in the house, kids included in the animal part, and just sit down to have my beer in the evenings and watch TV, it's usually about 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not,
Haven't even checked up today, really, and now I'm finally sitting down, and the last thing you want to do is fill that void with drama.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd rather fill it with the 1,000 projects me and my wife have going on, and and
sure, you guys do have a lot going on too.
I keep telling her no more projects, sure. And she keeps saying the same thing, but
projects turn into hobbies.
Yeah,
and then hobbies turn into full-time jobs.
They absolutely do. That's, pretty much how the skate shop came to be. It wasn't, cool. Everyone's like, you're living your dream job. It absolutely was not my dream.
Sure.
It has nothing to do with that. It's all about, it was a have to.
Sure.
Both hairdressers, salon in our house, very successful salon in our house.
Cool.
COVID hits and nobody knew what was going on. Of course, we were shut down by, the state itself, but nobody knew. We didn't know what to do. So we're like, well, we're shutting it down. And then the kids are home all year. And we're like, well, we don't kind of want everybody in our house and out of our house. And because we don't know what's happening, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So she looks at me and like, all those, the PPE loans and stuff that we were supposed to get. Well, our bank was like, well, we're out of money. Sorry.
Oh, shit.
And like we did everything we were supposed to. We never saw it. So we got one of the ones that you have to pay back, extremely low interest rate, like,
Sure.
And she said, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, what are we going to do? We even looked into going to school for a while. She was looking to go into medical billing and filing. She was accountant for 10 years for Weight Watchers before she became a hairdresser. And then, I just came off of a 20-year career of being a union mason. So I went to school to do hair, did 15 months there. 2.5 years later, where I both out of work, I'm like, what? I picked the career because it's not affected by the economy.
Sure.
My other job was, and she said, you want to open a skate shop? I said, I can't say no to that. Yeah. I can't say no to, it seems like the right idea. You know what I mean? And we didn't know we hit a niche. We had no clue.
Absolutely.
So it's just all panned out the way it's sustainable.
Yeah. So we're in the I guess y'all are from Dixon. How long have y'all lived here?
My wife was born and raised in Kingston.
Okay.
And I was born in Georgia, but I grew up mostly in New England, Connecticut.
Wow.
My dad was Navy. So we lived in South Carolina for a few years, West Virginia for a couple of years out of his retirement, and I ended up here in '97 in White Bluff. So this is the longest I've ever lived anywhere. So it's home. It
is home. You picked a good spot.
Yeah, I love it. I love raising my kids here. I think it's a great mix of city and country, and it's just a good in between.
It's good people too.
It is good people. My dad's family's been down here forever. They live down there as the Harpeth.
Oh, that's nice.
And actually, all of them went to school with my wife.
Really?
And I started coming down when I was 15 to lay block in the summers, and just we walked circles around each other for 20 years. So we never met, and then we get together, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know all your family."
That you know. So how'd y'all meet?
Facebook.
Okay.
I messaged her. She was making bracelets because we make our own jewelry and stuff too. And I said, "Hey, how much for those? The gear bracelet?" And we just never stopped talking. And then talked on the phone for like little kids for 3 months. Still never met. And finally met, and we've been apart 3 nights in 6 years.
Really?
We love being together. Yeah, we absolutely. So awesome. I think we get a little pissy when we're not together. We just enjoy. Wow. And I used to look at dudes on the job site and be like, "How the hell you work with your wife?"
Sure.
And now I'm like, "Oh no, I get it. You enjoy your company." So
I work with my wife too. It's great, And
it's awesome if you can have that connection.
It is, and if you can figure out how to. Here it's a little different because kind of our outside life, obviously, with you, skateboarding and jewelry making as well too, you can kind of do that in office and out of office.
Yeah.
With us, we got to kind of find that divider line between insurance and the rest of our hobbies in life, and how to kind of not commingle those too much.
Yeah.
But and she does personal lines, I do commercial lines, so like our business doesn't really overlap unless she picks up one that has a business or I pick up one that has a house. Or
gotcha.
Like
yeah.
That too. So. But we are around each other all the time and enjoy each other's company inside and out of the office.
It seems like it's rare nowadays.
What is it, like 75% of marriages or 50 to 70% of marriages end up in divorce now?
Yeah, I'm divorced twice.
Okay.
She is as well.
Okay.
I know she doesn't like people hearing that, but I just say the reason, divorces cost so much is because they're fucking worth it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the bottom line. And, it's we had to go through that. You know what I mean? I still go back to the pivotal moments. You know what I mean? There's the thing I wouldn't go back and change anything. Not even the death of my father, because I'm where I'm at. The butterfly effect, right? You know, I'd be afraid things would be different just a little bit here and there. You know, I'm so appreciative to where I'm at. You know,
that's awesome. That's a rare trait too. There's so many people that just get caught up in the past.
Yeah.
You know, and in my mind, the way I separate it all is that the past is nothing but a memory, and the future is nothing but an idea. So the only real time and the only real moment is now. You know, it's the only thing that's real. Period.
My dad would say, if you have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, you're pissing on a day and wasting your time.
Boom. Right, I was
there. Like, perfect. You know what
I
mean?
I'll live in the moment. Then.
Yep. It's you have to. I mean, it's like Yoda. Like, you have to be mindful of the future. Sure. You know, I mean, to accomplish goals. You know, dreams, goals become reality. Yada yada. You know, and I guess the past is there for lessons learned. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, it's if you're walking down the street at 12 o'clock and a brick hits you in the head, you know. You're going to walk on the other side of the street eventually. Sure. You know, enough hits to the head and you...
I'm going to move a little bit.
I'm going to take a different street altogether.
Well, pain's tied to emotions, you know, and your emotions are kind of generated by past experiences.
Yeah.
And you can change those emotions. I mean, it's the same thing we're talking about, again, on the drama. Like, you don't have to respond that way.
Well, I think a lot of it's learned behaviors. It is. It's like when you're talking to Steve, product of your environment kind of deal, you know, like if you see your whole life growing up, it's okay. Like, you know, my kids think tattoos are normal. Yeah. You know, it's just they see it their whole life, you know, so it's kind of, but that being said though, like if you grew up with a shitty father, you're either going to be a shitty father or you're going to be an amazing father. There's like no in between, you know what I mean? It's, you kind of want to
not be a father at all, I guess.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like you gotta, it's your choice. I mean, we all have a choice. And my dad's a good dad, but he was gone 6-9 months at a time on a submarine, and so I refused to be gone from my children. Like even during like the layoffs of block laying and all that stuff, I was like, they say you can go to town and work. I'm like, no, I'm not going.
Yeah, I got
anywhere. I got the kids. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, I'll lose 1,000 jobs for my children.
Sure.
Doesn't matter what it is. They will. The one thing they'll remember is dad was always there, no matter what. So
that's extremely important. That's a tough thing to come by too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get caught up in the work as well too. I mean, some of my side gig stuff is on the weekends or at nights during the week, you know, with trivia or something like that. And you know, my wife keeps me mindful about, you know, don't get too caught up. In the heat of things and the money and kind of the excitement of things, because you know, you've still got a family, you know, that needs you, whether, you know, money or not money. You know, your family just needs your presence.
And that's why we hired them all at the skate shop. You know what I mean? Like, it's
like it or not, kiddos.
Here you got. They're stuck with us more than we're stuck with them. You know what I mean? I think that they're a blessing, and it's how you live forever. Yeah, through your children. You know what I mean? It's
so the pandemic hit. Was this skate shop? So that was a product of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And was that kind of you and your wife's kind of first venture together, or I mean, had y'all dabbled in some things before?
Well, we'd already had like the salon going in the house. You know what I mean? The Ash's art did really well, and then we had the wood side too. Like, I mean, while I was waiting to go to school to do hair, me and my buddy were like, hey, let's build this wooden box out of pallets, you know?
Sure.
Simple. And it took off. Somebody saw a box like, hey, I'll buy that for $100. I'm like, all right, well. It's like, can you build another one at the top that opens? I was like, sure. So from there, like while I was waiting to go to school for the 8-9 months, I was, you know, started building custom furniture. It took off very, very quickly. Wood's a lot easier to cut than block. I can't get the builder out of me. I'm still, you know, I love building. And it just got to where I'd build it, she'd come out and she'd sand it and she'd stain it and finish it. And so she just jumped right in too. You know what I mean? It was immediately, it's kind of, we try to jump. Sometimes we get separated on things, but we still try to always come back to that center, you know? So that took off really well. And then it just kind of, with COVID, I still build furniture and stuff, you know what I mean? But like COVID just kind of sank everything. My life seemed so simple back then. It was, I'm in the house doing hair, or I'm out in the woodwork shop. It was just back and forth, and
you don't have to leave your house either.
No, we were always. I mean, it's always at home. You know, it's so. Which I mean, we're not far from the house now where the skate shop's at. You know, it's I don't ever use the car anymore. It's just the one
wheel,
man. Yeah. I'm like, that tank of gas lasts me 4 months.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was talking to Justin the other day, and he was like, I checked up, and my tags would have been expired for like 3 months just because I hadn't driven the truck. It's been sitting in my parking or in my driveway.
Yep, the one wheel's a blessing. I got it for Christmas, and it's just absolutely it'll start your day off great. You know what I mean? Just getting on it and zipping to work and
boom.
Zip to the dollar store, over to the hair salon, back, so. But she works now does hair at Studio K. And
okay.
I very seldom do hair anymore. It's like my buddy can call me and I'll run over and cut his hair or whatever. And
sure.
I'm just too busy with everything else
going on. Yeah, so y'all, before I get into it, while I'm thinking about it, on the one wheel note, so I think we've got plenty of people to start a little club.
Oh no, I've been noticing. Yes.
So it's me, you, Justin, Victor, Richard Lee now has one at Lee Realty, and I think a couple kids have some.
Well, I met a cop at the Burns Barbecue Bash that's riding around now too.
Cool.
I don't know if he's a cop in Burns or what, but he has one. He's running around town now too.
Okay.
So.
I was thinking I would love, because I know that they've got the not BMX, but the off-road bikes trails at Montgomery Bell.
Yeah.
That would be sweet if we had a one-wheel.
I really want to try. I've brought it to the camper a few times and ran it through some of the the rough terrain and whatnot. And
does it work okay?
Yeah, it does fine. It gets a little deep gravel gets a little squirrely, but I mean that's about it. Like I just can't, I keep powering through it, and that would be awesome though. Justin wants me. I'm gonna call One Wheel and see if I can get a wholesale account with them.
Sweet.
That way we can have all the accessories and stuff in the shop,
because they keep coming out with new stuff too. Like I always get emails of just stuff that that they're coming out with, and Craft and Ride is doing really well with what they got going on. I saw the other day that they made a set of shocks for the XR.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like low profile, but they're shocks, and you can put a little lift on the board, so the board sits a little higher than it typically does, than right in the middle of the tire, and then you can add the shocks to it. And it's just got like a crossbar that goes over the fender cover, or the fender well, and then it looked like 6 or 8 inch shocks on either side of it.
That is gnarly. I mean, it's like...
And you put the flight pins on there too, you'd be good to go.
That's amazing. Like, I can't, the technology behind it's astonishing.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, I don't even, I'm sure it happens to you too. I'm going to the road and everyone's just like, what is that? Like it's a one wheel,
People are like, you paid so much for the thing. I'm like, you know what? This is the best investment in happiness I've ever made.
Oh, but me
too.
It's
an amazing conversation starter, too.
Yep.
And I've held more random people's hands. Speaking of COVID, like, they didn't give a shit either. Like, I've held more random people's hands around town that just wanted to drive it or ride on it. I'm like, yeah, you're not doing it right off the bat. Like, you're going to have to hold my hands, and I'll guide you around a little bit, and then I'll let you go, maybe.
Oh, my buddies, I just put them on it and watch them. I'm just like, go for it, man.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, hey. Oh, by the way, it's really hard to get off it. You're moving.
Yeah, take the simple stop off and just see what happens.
My simple stop's always off.
I've been trying to do tricks and stuff on it too, like the 180 and the slide stop and all that stuff too. I've been trying to do a curb hop, where you run up to the curb and slam it and jump on it.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Try more like a skateboarder. I never skateboarded in my life.
I'm seeing people do no slides and stuff on them too, and I'm just like, what? I mean, like it. So it's still hard for me. I'm just like, man, I don't know if I want to totally trash my $1,200 purchase.
Yeah, but the good part about it is that all the stuff is replaceable, but it's still not cheap.
Yeah, it's still...
Those damn bottom plates and everything, side plates are not cheap at all.
Well, I told Devin what I'll probably end up doing is my oldest son, he's probably going to end up buying mine off me.
Cool.
And I'll get an XR because I'm finding myself just tapping that max speed all the time now.
I'm getting that pushback all
and it's gnarly. When the pushback happens, you're just like, whoa. I mean, I think I need a little bit more speed.
I do too. And Justin talked me out of it. I almost bought one. I almost sold Amber mine. And I almost bought one. He was like, I don't know if you want to do that quite yet. Just keep riding yours. And so I didn't. Amber ended up getting her own. And hers is sweet, by the way. But if you get an XR, I'm definitely going to have to try that.
Yeah,
I'm going to get one.
I just need that little bit.
Yeah.
I need that little bit extra, you know what I mean?
16 miles an hour is not enough.
Yeah.
My average is like 14 and a half, and it still kicks me back.
That's me too. Every time I get over 14, it starts kicking me back, and I'm just like, man, I need to...
I got shit to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's funny because we'll leave the skate shop at the same time, me and the wife, and it's an ongoing game between us. And generally, I beat her home.
Okay.
Every single time. But I don't have to stop. I mean, I don't really have to stop for traffic lights and stuff. I just
hold my hand out.
I just zip around, or I'll, somebody's slowing down. Thank you. Zip right in front of them. Like it's.
Does your wife have one too?
She does not.
Okay.
She does not. I'm trying to get her into skateboarding a little bit. She just got a longboard. I'm trying to get her kind of balanced,
Cool.
But she did get some roller skates. We're kind of starting to upgrade roller skates at the shop too, and going to try to carry more of those.
I've
And
been roller skating forever.
hopefully in spring too. I think we're going to have paddle boards in this coming spring. So the blow up ones too, the good ones.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, we got one and took it to the camper, and I was like, we've paddleboarded a few times, but we got the ones from Walmart when we came back from our Florida thing from paddleboarding. And man, they react like a surfboard. It's so hard to stand on those ones from Walmart.
Are they?
But these are the 10.5-foot ones that blow up to the right pressure, and they're awesome.
It's a great workout too.
It is, and I love that you stand up on them, sit down on them, lay down on them. There's all kinds of accessories that come with them, like backpacks that strap and go underwater to keep your drinks cool, and
cool,
just neat stuff. And
they can do. I've seen people do longboard or paddleboard yoga too.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but I did. My buddy Bruce was trying to do a handstand on one out there, so I guess he's close. Yeah, he's getting close.
That's awesome. So do you think that this skate park? We can kind of get into the skate park that you're building too. Do you think this skate park would have any amenities for a one wheel at all?
It's. I should build them. You know what I mean? Like if it's that's a great idea. I never thought about that. Yeah, something for, and because if the indoor skate park thing works out the way in my which it seems like everything is working out nowadays. Yeah. And if it works out the way I think, there'll already be the BMX track and like the dirt bike tracks and stuff. Yeah. So why wouldn't we build a one wheel track? Sure. There's enough of us. You know what I mean? Could
be plenty.
Put some pretty gnarly stuff. Like I could see it working too, like on the downhill BMX kind of deal, the downhill mountain bike where they have like the wooden things that go around. And I tried my one wheel at the White Bluff skate park though, and it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Like
too slick.
I don't know if it was too. I think it was too steep, too quick.
Okay. Yeah, because you'll nosedive real quick.
It sounded like a car peeling. I was like, like it was.
Get this guy out of here.
And I fall off it, and it's just, I'm like, this thing wasn't meant for this. So, but no, that's a great idea. It'd be awesome just to have some cool little obstacles to roll around on, and that'd be. Yeah, but Montgomery Bell, I do want to try that out too. Though. Yeah, that would be.
We've got a little farm down 48 and. Got some cows, and so the cows obviously, they're a creature of habit as far as how they walk and where they move and hang out. So they have pretty much stomped down a bunch of trails just throughout the farm. So there's like a main road that runs through it, but then there's just little cattle trails that'll run through a field or through the woods or something like that. Yeah. So I've kind of hit that a little bit. But dude, I've got more cow shit up under my damn feet. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, so bad. Like I have to take it off and pressure wash it and clean it out.
Yeah, I didn't think
it's not bad. I mean, hell, those things can take a beating. I've ridden them through puddles and stuff like that. They're pretty good waterproof. So I mean,
that's good to know because I've been so OCD about being a skateboarder. Like the first rule when the kids get their new boards, I'm like, look. No water, no dirt. No, it will thrash. Your bearings will be done in a matter of a week. So I'm trying to get that in my head that it's like I can still ride it through some.
Sure. When
the ground's a little bit wet, it's not gonna, or the pavement, it's not gonna hurt it. You know what I mean? So.
It doesn't. No, and I take pretty damn good care of mine. I knew I had to put a scratch on it though. It came in, and I was like, all right, this is just gonna have to happen.
It's like when I went to masonry school, they all I'd already been laying block and brick for 2 years. I already knew what I was doing, but they wanted me to go to school, so I got my foot in the door, and didn't have to be a laborer anymore, yada yada. And they give us these hard hats, these new shiny hard hats, all of us, the apprentices. And I'm out there in the alley kicking my hard hat around and scratching on the brick wall and putting dirt on it and stuff. And they're like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "You think I want to look like the new guy when I go out on the job site?" No, I don't look like I already know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not me. I've been here forever. Look at my hard hat.
Even if you get a new skateboard, you know what I mean? Show up with some scratches on it.
Sure. Yeah, don't look like the new guy.
Yeah.
So it looks like the skate park, though, across from or behind the fire department is coming along pretty good. Or is it moving along?
They're rolling. Ross and those guys are awesome, man. They're really moving along. And looked like they were starting to pour some concrete today. You know what I mean? They got the drainage is all taken care of. There's a little bit of issues with drainage here and there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I guess it's all of Dixon. You know, it's
well, it's all that area because I think there's also a big like natural spring that runs right through there.
Yeah, that's what someone told me the other day. It's a watershed. The whole downtown area was one big watershed. Initially. So
and I think right there at Reagan's, what is that? College Street. I think if somebody told me that if water falls off Reagan's roof, it goes one way completely. And if it falls off, what is that at the corner? y'all's place right there.
Yeah.
It goes the complete opposite way. So that's kind of the split right there.
Oh yeah,
where the watershed goes. Yeah.
Yep, that's it, and it all pumps down that one direction. So, but when the new parking lot, the reason the skate park and the parking lot took so long is because there was so many drainage issues they had to get worked out. Before you could, it's all steps or whatever. But they're moving right along, man. I saw them with some transitions out there already,
cool.
And getting to kind of see what the curve's going to look like on all the transitions and the ramps.
So do they prefab all that stuff and bring it out and then kind of somehow get it set on there? Or they build it on site?
All the rails and stuff and the boxes are all prefab, because they're welded metal and stuff and whatnot. But everything else, like all the transitions and the bowl and stuff, like the copings, metal copings prefab with like steel already like coming off the ends where you can embed it into the concrete. But the rest of it, no, it's just like if you've ever poured concrete and you got a screed rod and you got this flat surface and you're just pulling the concrete back, it's the same thing. They'll get all the gravel and the dirt mainly kind of where they want it, and then they have like these little wooden templates cut out, and they'll just throw the concrete in there. And they'll just drag it down and keep dragging it down, and just they form it right there on site.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive.
I've always wondered that, and you would know more than anybody. So if you're pouring concrete on a slope, how do you get it to stay on there?
You don't make it when you order a concrete truck. It already comes. The thing's always turning the barrel, but it's already pretty dry.
Okay,
you know what I mean. And if you want it to pour, you have to add water. You have to tell the driver 5 gallons of water, add 10 more gallons of water to loosen it up for it to pour where it wants to pour. But if you want like literally it to stick, you just leave it dry. They bring it to you a little bit drier, and you throw it on there. And as you're like screeding it down, you can throw water on it. When you're finishing it, you throw a little bit of water on it too to get the smooth finish to it. So it kind of they just mix it. I mean, we've even done laid all the Tennessee Towers. I did a lot of that travertine up there, and all that the lower like plaza and stuff. They were all pedestal pavers. But we did it in what was called dry pack, and we made the mortar with very little to no water, and we just packed it down like sand pavers. You put the travertine on it and get it all level where you want it, and then at the end of the day, you put a hose to it, and it just hardens up right underneath it.
Wow. Huh.
Pretty cool.
Well, yeah, the designs look awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
the designs look incredible.
They killed it. Spawn Ranch did such a good job on...
Who was that?
Spawn Ranch is who ended up getting it, and
cool,
which is a weird name, but still, it's still they did a great job. I was talking to both companies pretty actively, and so was Sherry, and we just kind of some people wanted the other design, but I just was kind of thinking about kids that were 5 to kids that were 50. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it to be kind of fit everyone's needs. And the other part, the little kids just weren't going to be able to ride it. You know what I mean? It wouldn't. But hopefully, I'm in talks with White Bluff about getting their upgrade. Cool. Next year or the year after, whenever all the grants or money comes into place, and it's gonna be more of a street park there. So kind of try to do 2 different parks. You know what I mean, within a 12-mile radius. And
so what's the difference? So is the street park more just kind of humps and rails and things like that?
Yeah, more rails. Okay. Less transitions, less ramps. You know what I mean? And a lot of the kids.
That's the official word.
Yeah. And a lot of kids around here, like, well, we're street skaters. I'm like, it's because you've never had a chance to ride ramps until we started having the skate sessions and building all these ramps for all the kids. So
you got a ramp in your house.
Got a ramp in my house. I got a 16-foot trailer full of 6 ramps that I move around once a month to let the kids skate. And
where do you go with them?
We pulled a permit for the last Friday of every month up there in the new parking lot up by the old garage.
Okay.
And the city let us have it till the skate park was done, and we just we set up there set up all the ramps and just skate from 4 to 8. And me and my buddy usually he's trying to open up a BMX shop, and Dale Street Apparel is his wife. We have like a trick for swag. The kids do a trick. We give them a T-shirt. Oh, cool. You know what I mean? And kind of have giveaways and best trick for boards and stuff like that, and just kind of make it fun for all of them, you know?
Yeah, give them a reason to, I mean, besides obviously a creative outlet, but yeah, add a little competition to it. You can't beat that.
Yeah, it's awesome. We just have a good time. Everyone loves it, and set up a tent and some water and some stuff with the kids and little snacks and whatnot. Just let them have a good, and it's also good. It's a good meet and greet for skateboarders. The first session we had, you know, of course, when we were at High Cotton, was in the alley right there behind the building. And man, we had no idea. There was like 50 kids showed up, and
whoa.
The last skate session in White Bluff we did, it was like with the Teresa's from Sweet Teas, the back to school bash. There was like 80 of us out there skating. Like, it's just,
wow.
People started coming from the woodwork, you know. But you know, every year there's a Go Skate Day.
Okay.
And I just was like, well, we could do a Go Skate Day every month, and if even at the new park, when the park opens, we'd continue those skate sessions. If they know people are gonna be skating there every day, people just show up that like skating with each other and having skate sessions. So
yeah, make new friends.
Yeah, I didn't realize until that point how many skateboarders were like in those surrounding areas.
That's what I was gonna say. So did most of them come from like the Dixon area, or are you seeing people come from further than that?
Now it's a lot of Dixon area, because it's taken off more here, of course. But yeah, no. Linden, I mean, there's people coming from a lot of my friends. I have friends in Nashville that come out and skate with us too, but all like Camden. There's some people come from Murfreesboro. I mean, like, it's kind of all over the area for these sessions, you know. And like, I had a buddy that the guys from skate park, so they went down to 6th Avenue the other day to skate, and they came and the guys running the show, Ross, he was like, man, they said they had more fun at your skate session than they did at the actual skate park. So
wow. That's awesome.
It's kind of neat, yeah.
And you said, what did you say that you were talking about indoor stuff, that there's only 25?
There's only 25. That's from my understanding, about 25 indoor skate parks in the whole country.
Sure.
And in Tennessee, there's the one in Nashville, and there's one in Memphis.
Okay.
But Dixon's like that little, you know, that hub. It's right there in between, man. It's, you know.
It's a perfect little hub for these types of businesses, because you're servicing all those people that live in between Clarksville and Dixon and Columbia and Dixon, and then of course we're the last sets of lights before Jackson. So you know, you're servicing all those people that just, you know, and that is a skateboarding is life to a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, it's not, if you're into it, you're into it.
No, and it's definitely, it's just something that I mean, I played some sports when I was like younger, a little bit here and there, but it got to where skateboarding was just kind of, it was my niche, you know. And I think it's got more to do with it's one of those things where it's an inner battle. You know what I mean? You're not battling against. It's not physics. It's not, this dude's way bigger than me, he's gonna push me around in the field. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, it literally. I was telling Steve earlier at lunch. I was like, it's simple things like, my son would say, "Dad, when can I not wear a helmet?" I said, "When you learn how to fall, not when you learn how to skate." You know. And I tell parents all the time, I'm like, it's going to teach your kid to fall down in front of a bunch of people and probably get embarrassed. But it's also going to teach them to get back up and keep going. I mean, I don't know if there's a better life lesson at all. And everyone's talking about how underwhelming like the skateboarding was in the Olympics, the street part especially. But the tricks they were trying was just insanely hard. But we watch skate videos and you see these guys just like they're landing all these. They don't see the 75 tries it took them to land the trick.
Yep.
You know, and then how many times they fell down and the persistence of it. You know, it just, you keep going. That's just anything in life. If you don't make it, you're gonna keep going until you make it. Right?
If you really want to do it, you know. Yep. I mean, that's what keeps driving people. It's like this too. Like my first 5, 6, 7, 10 episodes sucked. Like I didn't really know how to run an interview. I didn't know how to do the audio correctly. My equipment was okay for a beginner. Like, but there were so many, and they're still out there floating around. But I take it as kind of a tribute of my journey almost.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like I didn't have sponsors like I do now. It's but I wanted an outlet. I needed a creative outlet, and I need people like you and everybody else I've had on here just have really cool stories that, you know, like you said, like you've got a shitload of stuff going on, and you know, you're obviously pretty social and care a lot about the kids, which is huge. But if you're not into skating, you know, a lot of times people don't just run across Jimmy. You know?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It turns into. again, Teresa from Sweet Teas, when she saw the skate session down there at White Bluff that day we had the bash, she was like, this is amazing. There's no one's talking negative to anybody. Everyone's like supporting each other and like they're pushing each other to do this next biggest thing, and they're teaching each other. And I'm like, it's kind of like, I guess what, Bruce Lee, if people are afraid of what they don't know, but do you make that a part of them, and they see the beauty in it when in the end, and
well, nobody ever does anything alone either. Like, you can't ever accomplish greatness or get to a certain level just by yourself. There's always somebody there that, people have to be picked up. We're communal creatures,
Yeah.
We're not meant to be isolated at all.
Oh, it's the what was that movie? The Great Dictator, man. Look, I mean, that's if people haven't heard that speech by Charlie Chaplin, they should probably listen to it once a day.
Okay.
I mean, the man was in movies and didn't in silent movies and didn't speak a word. And the one movie he speaks in, it's the greatest speech ever wrote.
Wow.
Ever. I don't know if you've never heard it.
I've never heard it. I'll have to write it down.
It's absolutely astonishing. He's just everything he says. Me and Dave Wright were talking about it one time, and it was just like, man, it's definitely, it hits home with what's going on right now a lot too. You know what I mean? We're talking about you're not machines, you're men. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. It makes my day better when I hear it. So
just kind of snaps you back into thinking in a different mindset of. Too many people just wake up and are just drones to the day.
Yeah, I struggle with that. I've had arguments with teachers over my youngest son and stuff. I'm just like, I understand you want cookie cutters, but that's not him. You know what I mean? He's not, and I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I would rather argue with my kids all day long and them have their own opinion than just to fall in line.
Sure.
It's just that means that they're going to be strong individuals. They're going to have opinions. They're going to speak their opinions. I would rather them be outspoken than just a yes, ma'am, and a yes, sir. It's hard in school. School's not a democracy.
No.
I struggled in school. Dad would always say, "Make your own waves, son."
Sure.
And I struggled with it. But we had brains.
Yeah.
We had our own opinions. We were creative. We did our own thing, you know what I mean? And in the end, that was most like my oldest son's the same way. A lot of his friends very much so. He's the same age as them, but when he tells them, when he's like, "Hey guys, stop that," they're like, "Okay, man, sorry." Like, they listen to him as well. So
I think you're absolutely right on this whole school issue. It's getting to a point to where they're trying to put, like you said, they're trying to put everybody in a box. And what blows my mind is that the funding for the arts is so underfunded. I mean,
what happened? I mean, when I was growing up, arts and music was prevalent.
Yeah.
And I know I did all my school up north, but still, it was very prevalent. And the speech I have with people is like, well, what do art and music influence? Creative and independent thinking. And they don't want that. You know what I mean? They don't want outside of the boxers. You know what I mean? But like, all the great
threat. Free thinkers are a threat.
Absolutely.
To,
and the country was founded on people that had ideas and brilliant ideas. You know what I mean? And that's how new things happen. That's how podcasts happen. That's how, is hey, I have an idea.
Skateboards in the middle of a downtown setting happen.
Yep. I have an idea. Let's run with it and see where it goes. You know what I mean? Instead of, no, that's not going to work. You just need to go get a factory job.
What was it? It was the rational men adjust to the world around them, and the irrational men make the world adjust to them. That's why all progression relies on irrational men. Not necessarily men, women as well too, but you can't. I mean, nothing new has ever come out of, well, that's the way we've always done it.
Yeah. No, I mean, not at all. They would never have invented a one wheel. It would never It would never happen. You know what I mean? Even skateboarding, the technology of it, like, it's started with clay wheels and then metal wheels.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden here's polyurethane. I mean, I'm sure like a lot of people have watched Lords of Dogtown when he runs in with a bag and drops them off and says, we can make hard carves with these like we do on our surfboards. We can even grip walls because they were soft enough to actually, get to hold on to it. That's why like if you're in a skate park, you're like concrete and stuff. If you have a softer wheel, it's easier to not slide out on the walls. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Harder wheels are more for street skating where you can slide around and do what you need to do. So it's just kind of, means they go back to me and Steve again. We were talking about evolution earlier. You know what I mean? Like, you got to evolve.
You got to change.
You can't just stay in one spot. I mean,
and it hurts to change sometimes, and people don't like pain. To grow is to change. I mean, you don't see a sapling stay a sapling or a flower stay a bud. Like nature within itself is continuously evolving.
Well, and what stops a lot of people from changing, I've discovered, is it's fear.
100%. False evidence appearing real.
Yep. It's afraid to take the next step. Like I told my brother at one point, I was like, he was unhappy with the situation he was in. I won't get into that, but he was just like, I was like, dude, take a step. It don't matter if you're standing in one pile of shit and then you step into another pile of shit, at least you're not in the same stinky pile of shit you're in. I think I said that to you one time, I
loved it.
Yeah, and that's the truth. I mean, if you don't like where you're standing, make a move. Even if you fail and it's not the right move, then you make another move. Like it's okay. People are afraid to fail. People are afraid to change their normal routines and stuff like that. And it's just I think change is actually the spice of life.
It has to be.
I don't want to change my wife. I absolutely love my beautiful wife, but still, change is good, man.
When you got to have a foundation, just like you said, this is what everything to me falls back on is the yin and the yang of life, the order and the chaos, and you've got to just kind of walk that border and realize that, the chaos can pop up at any time when you think things are in order, and same thing, order can pop up out of chaos at any point in time.
It's the gray. I tell everyone that's I love that gray area, man. You know what I mean? Like it's
the known and the unknown. I mean, you can't grow when you're in the known.
Yeah, it's the middle of the middle of the road, the center avenue kind of deal. That's what I'm naming my next band Center Avenue. We live on Center Avenue, but I'm naming it Center Avenue because I think it's a good point.
It's appropriate.
It's a good point to be in, is that in that middle area. You still have, if you go too far to one way or the other, usually you're fucked either way. You know what I mean? You got to, it's
tyranny. If you get too much order, you're in these marching orders, and you end up in Orwell's 1982 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, that's not what you want.
No, not at all. Not at all, man. It's not. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. People don't function well. I function well under pressure, but not that kind of pressure.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind
somebody else's pressure.
Yeah, it's kind of like laying brick and your boss is standing over you, watching you, or you know what I mean? It's just
get the hell away.
Yeah, back up, dude. Like I even had some test me at points. Like when I first I always looked young, so they couldn't figure out why I knew what I knew. So they always wanted to test me. Every time I got on a job site, I was the baby face. This guy doesn't know anything, and they get on the wall with me, man, and I would burn them up, and they'd just be like, oh, "Dude, like really?"
I wanted somebody to give hell to.
Yeah. I'm like, nah, dude, you got the wrong guy, man.
Not me.
And they all love me.
You see my helmet? You see my hat? Yeah. It's already
my hard hat has scratches on it, dude. You know what I mean? I got duct tape on my steel toe boots. I've been here a minute.
I'm legit. So wait, so you're starting a band?
Yeah, I'm starting another.
What's that going to be like?
I've played in bands since I was about 11. Started off playing drums and started playing guitar when I was 15. Okay. My brother joined the Navy when I was around 20 years old, and he was the guitar player. I was the drummer. I'm like, yeah, what am I going to do now? So I just started playing a lot of acoustic, a lot of like ska and reggae style, and people started saying, hey man, start a band. You should start a band. You're really good at singing and all that stuff. And so I did, and it went really well. Like we were playing like 3 or 4 shows a month on 102.9 local buzz for a couple of years. And
oh, cool.
And then that died down. Band members really hard to keep. It's really hard to keep a band together, which is astonishing to me still. And then I started the other one, Working Class Brawlers. It went really well too, and same thing.
Just fell apart.
It just fell apart. Somebody gets over here in left field messed up on drugs. Somebody gets in a car wreck or something. Something just. It's mainly, I guess most of them get messed up on drugs, but it
comes with the nature of music sometimes.
But it's really hard to it's hard to have. You have those bands that have been together like 30 years. It's hard to find that anymore. But I kept using a lot of the same band members with both bands, so I think I figured the common denominator. I'm using different people this time.
So they're all local people?
Yeah, they'll be all local. Probably a neighbor. I have a neighbor behind me that plays drums, and my other buddy. This one to do the BMX thing. He plays music too and all that stuff. Okay. So I have a full band room behind my woodwork shop. It's
oh wow,
anything you could ever want, and PAs and crate half stacks in the 70s and bass amps, and so we get back there and
I'm sure the neighbors love you.
Well, I did pretty good with the installation at first when me and Dolores first got together. There was some complaints, and my one neighbor on the one side, he's like, I don't care. I just take my hearing aids out in the evenings anyways. He's like, do what you want, man. But it's I fixed the building and it's pretty insulated now. It's not that bad. Okay.
So where y'all thinking about playing?
Well, there's the upstairs above Ollie's. There's a new event venue that's starting to open up too and all that. And I definitely there's been a couple events booked, but we wanted to weddings and stuff are great and all that, but we really want to have some stuff set aside. Like I think it'd be great, like how you can bank on there being trivia every Thursday night. Mm-hmm. You're getting to where you can bank on every other Sunday there's going to be a bingo. Mm-hmm. So I want it to be like you can bank on, hey, I'm going to go up there Tuesday to the Lofts and there's going to be a comedian. There's a comic night. Or Wednesday night there's going to be open mic night or improv night. Like these things you can bank on, you can go see every day of the week. You know what I mean? So we're going to try to go that route with it. Cool. And definitely want to do some the punk rock pizza parties. They were in Nashville. All ages shows for kids.
Okay.
They can't even see a real show until they're 18 now.
Sure.
And up north, we were seeing our friends' bands play like age 14. That's why we started playing music, because we were like, man, this is awesome. We want to do the same thing. So.
And that's before they get kind of programmed into the system, I mean, at that age, you're still malleable and have interests, and you're not just completely dead set on, how your parents told you things were supposed to be or how society tells you things are supposed to be, and to expose kids at a young age to just a whole vast array of different things is phenomenal.
Oh, that's both my sons, the oldest one and the youngest, play guitar. My youngest daughter, she's learning a little bit too, and all three of them skate as well, and it's kind of like, and I'm enjoying it. Like music's the same way. It's fine arts. It
is.
It's amazing watching them learn, because they have tools that like we did not have growing up at all. Like I come in there and like they're playing like Metallica 1 and stuff, and I'm like, where did you? And they're like, oh, YouTube. You know what I mean? Yep. Like when I was younger, it was a tape, and you're pressing play and rewind and play and rewind and play, until you figured out where you were at. You know what I mean? It was totally different. You really had, and then the version you learned probably wasn't exactly right, but it. As long as it sounded good to you, it was
close enough.
So they definitely have some tools that we're just, it's amazing.
It is.
We interrupt this episode with a message from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Sassy Pop Boutique. Sassy Pop is a women's clothing and accessory boutique located inside Mulberry Mill in Dixon, Tennessee. Sassy Pop's fashion professionals help their clients find the right style and fit for all body types and sizes. Whether you are an extra small or a 3XL, Sassy Pop Boutique will have you looking your best for all 4 seasons. Check them out on Facebook at Sassy Pop Boutique and on Instagram at Sassy Pop Boutique Dixon. Or browse their website for 24-hour shopping and shipping anywhere in the United States at sassypopboutique.com. Now let's get back to it and enjoy the rest of this episode.
And I think, what's great to me is this has always been a pedestal that I've kind of taken in a soapbox, and as well as a lot of other people in town have too, is that there's just been a lack of youth activities in Dixon.
Absolutely.
Period. I mean, and that's why you see kind of these drug issues happen, and just kind of hoodlum type people, and and then the bowling alley has always been here, but it was a little rough, and then the new owners came in and did something with that. And the skateboarders have been around. They've just kind of been around downtown area and where they found best places to skate around. But now, we're, getting to where we can kind of localize that and bring everybody together on that aspect of it. And I mean, you're playing a huge role in that. I mean, what is it about? I mean, what drives you with the kids? Is it the 12 that you've got at your house?
Well, I mean, I think before even all this happened, most of the kids were at our house anyways. They're at the skate shop, and I love the fact that okay, I want to do things that I did. I'm still a big kid. Sure. Things that my parents didn't do when I was growing up. I would have loved. Let's have ramps, of course. My dad gave us skill saws and jigsaws at age 11 and 10.
Safe.
Yeah, his friends were like, your 11-year-old and 10-year-olds got the skill. He's like, they can use them better than I can. Wow. So we were always building ramps at a young age, but we didn't let us build one in the living room, Right. So that's what I look at almost like, man, I would love for my parents to have owned a skate shop, or my dad to set up skate sessions and just stuff like that. And like I said, we really started the skate shop honestly, it was for a monetary thing. And the kids, I just didn't see it. It just became extra. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like making money and I like paying my bills. But at this point, it really is. It's the kids. I'm starting to just really see the impact it's having on all of them, and feel like I'm a lot of these kids that have the problems don't have mentors at home. They don't have dads, or don't have or either. They don't have anyone to look up to, anyone to tell them, stop doing that or I'll slap you. Sure. Yeah. And these kids, that's how it is. It's weird. It's too. It's like The Godfather, what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm like, don't do that. And they're like, yes, sir, we're sorry. You know what I mean? And simple things like, having them help pick up trash, or if some old lady needs help moving something, or they're I'm like, hey guys, y'all want to jump in and help? Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, they're there. They don't mind to help. You know what I mean? And a cop one time was like, how'd you get the kids to pick up trash on Main Street? I said, I asked them. Mm-hmm. I said, okay.
A dick to them.
Yeah, I just said, okay. And now even my son was telling me that a cop pulled up to Holland. They're not supposed to skate at Holland, but they do because it rains. It's undercover. And the one cop got out and was like, if I do a kickflip, you guys got to leave. He got out and did a kickflip. Full police gear. That's what I think. I was like, that is just rad. I mean, that wouldn't have happened before. You know what I mean? It's another one pulls up. They throw their boards in the bush, and he's like, no. If you guys all do kickflips, you can stay. So it's kind of cool how it's
symbiotic.
Yeah, they're really understanding that these aren't. I think a lot of the problems. A detective came to me and who said something about some kids spray painting or buildings around town. He's like, I'm not saying these are skateboarders. I just know you see a lot of kids. Do you recognize these kids? And I was like, I don't. Sorry. But it's cool that they're not going, these damn skateboarders.
Immediately. Yeah.
It's they're realizing, and it was such a stigmata when we were growing up. If you had a skateboard in your hand, you were a criminal. Yeah. Bottom line, it don't matter. And throw you in a car or, arrest you, take you home, keep your board. If you were a skateboarder, you were just... Ugh. Kind of like snowboarders for a long time too. Sure. Same thing. If they didn't even allow snowboarding on most mountains when it first, for years and years when it first came out, it was a nuisance. It was, and now it's so just like skateboarding, part of the Olympics, and everyone's like, wow, this is really cool. This is gnarly. These guys are athletes, and they're realizing that it's not what they thought it was. Right. It's like anything,
anything that's new. People, like you said, people are scared of what they don't know.
And you're still. Not saying every one of these skateboarders are perfect. You're still going to have the rotten apples. There's just nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? But that's
every walk of life, though.
Yep.
Even in the church community.
Yep, it is.
You're going to have the nasty folk in there.
Absolutely,
everybody's perfect.
I think that's why Ranger Sherry involved us so much and let us help pick the park and felt like we were a part of it. She said, so we can police our own park. Well. And then, I've already seen Devin and his friends, the older boys, someone's doing something stupid. They're like, nah, dude, get out of here with that shit. Yeah. So they're already handling it.
That's awesome. So how was it working with the city on that? Were they pretty, welcoming to the idea?
Yeah. Oh, very much so. Okay. There was, I guess you have your haters in town on all of it too, but still, the city was all for it. There was rumors flying around forever that it was going to be over at Hensley, and now the city was like, now it's going right downtown. That's where it's zoned for. That's where it's going to be. We feel like that's where it's going to serve the best, and it's true. I mean, like, it's what a lot of the people, for the haters out there,
yeah, right.
Those skateboarders are going to get hungry and they're going to get thirsty. And the mothers are going to drop the little ones off and let them skate, and they're going to go shop around every business downtown.
Absolutely.
It's going to be nothing but revenue from it.
Yep. Yeah, and they've got a place to hang out. I mean, that's their own dedicated space with plenty of room, and it's right there next to the fire department. So if somebody does get terribly injured for some reason, you got a bunch of EMTs just right there. They can run out the door.
Those dudes are looking forward to it too.
I bet
they're excited.
They're gonna have a show out their door, every day.
The fire chief come up to me. He was like, I was on my one wheel, and he said, "Hey man, I'm thinking about giving me one of those." I was like, "You should."
Yeah, do it.
There's a lot of us. You know what I mean?
We're all doing it. Yeah, there's a lot of us.
We got a clan going.
I can't wait to start that. Justin was the reason I got one. And from the moment I got one, about 3 days later, I was like, I gotta get an XR. And then after that, I was like, we need to ride with some people. I want to have like a night ride, like a 4 or 5 mile ride somewhere, and just find a good spot to go. I've ridden pretty much everywhere I can downtown. I've ridden all the way to Hensley. I've ridden pretty much all the way to Ticey Springs, and then all those side streets. I ride around my neighborhood quite a bit. But that's pretty much it. I want to find where do you go?
I pretty much I'll ride around, like you said, downtown and stuff. I haven't been over to Hensley yet. I'd like to go over there and check that one out too.
Go around the trails,
the old golf cart trails.
Yeah. And do they care if we do that?
I don't know yet, but I did hear somebody mention talking about trying to get a bike. Don't quote me on this. A bike trail or a bike lane or something.
Okay.
That goes from Hensley over to Luther Lake, connecting all of it at some point.
Oh, well. Okay.
And that makes sense. That would be great if they had something like that, and it's kind of
okay.
And there's the big things happening at Hensley, anyways. Coming up with all the.
And they're going to try to connect a walking trail from there too.
That's downtown area. That's what I think that they're doing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that too, and I was like, man, when I heard the false rumors of the skate park maybe going over in Hensley, I was like, well, even if the skate park doesn't go there, with that big splash pad, they need a sky bridge right there.
Yeah,
it's perfect. I mean, it would look aesthetically pleasing. You don't have to worry about kids crossing the road.
Or Clarksville's got one.
Yeah, it's a lot. Almost the major cities do, and seems like to me that would be the way to go instead of even with stoplights, you still risk somebody running a red light and not seeing too many kids crossing, and it would just make it accessible. It would just make it absolutely accessible to the kids.
People would use it more, because you can enjoy your time downtown, and any city planner, and community developer will tell you that walkability within city limits is huge.
It absolutely
from home to commercial to green space. If you can connect all of those, it's you've got a good setup.
It'll get there eventually. I think it will. I mean, they're just kind of. I think a lot of it, dude, is that people like our age are finally starting to take seat in offices and. Own businesses downtown. It's the forward thinkers, you know what I mean? That's kind of pushing the town into the future, and that's what I'm just trying to help with, doing some things that I think Dixon needs and they don't know it yet.
You just took my life phrase out of my mouth there. I was watching. Oh, you've got kids. Have you seen the not new anymore, but the Peter Rabbit movie, like the non-animated version?
Oh no, I have not seen that one yet.
Oh my god, it's
check that one
so
out.
funny. James Corden is the voice of Peter Rabbit.
I love that dude.
He's so funny. But I don't remember one of the main human characters who is Mr. McGregor's nephew. Mr. McGregor dies, and the nephew works at a toy store. And inherits his uncle's house. So he goes out there to sell it and build his own toy store is his dream. Well, there's a girl there that he meets and eventually falls in love with. Spoiler alert. But she asks him, they're at a picnic, and she asks him a question like, what do you love the most, besides being OCD and organized, because he is that he said, I love giving people what they want, even though they don't know they want it.
Yep. And
and that hit me. I was like, this is Peter Rabbit speaking truth here, you know what I mean? And that hit me too. I've never really been able to kind of put my finger on it, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it's the same thing. that a lot of people are trying to do. And, and with trivia, like, there was one at the Mexican restaurant, that was slam packed and crowded, and it was a different thing. And bingo, same thing as well, too. And, just the networking group, just little shit, just around, like, people, they need something. A lot of people can't put their finger on it. And so, like you said, just try something. And if it works, it works. Just same thing. Like, if trivia just falls to shit, whatever, I mean, it's not going to, but I'm not going to be, I hope to God it's not, because, I mean, we put our ass off to it, but, like, we'll adjust. Or, the networking group or whatever it may be, people stop coming, you kind of adjust, but you don't, too many people get attached to the end goal. Yeah. And they've got this idea, but it's all in kind of who you become along the way, the failures that you experience, the people you meet. Yeah, and even if you don't nothing's ever finished. Cause
enjoy the journey. I mean, it's the journey's.
That's it. That's all life is. Because nothing's ever finished. As soon as you reach a goal, there's another one. There's something else. There's always more.
Oh, yeah. There's always another project.
Always another project.
Me and my wife know that very well. There's always going to be that next project. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which is, I'm fine with it. You always have something to look forward to. And, it's kind of, I know that, and I always have, before I met her, my luck was horrible.
Sure.
And now, I don't know what it is, but everything seems to just, if we do it together, it just seems to work out.
You're in alignment with your purpose.
Yeah, it absolutely. And I support her. She supports me. And let's just move forward. Hey, I have an idea. All right, run with it. Let's run with it. You know what I mean? Like, so I told her the other day, I said, I went through hair school at age 35, which is, it was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I realized what what our school systems are producing. Yeah. But I went through school at age 35, and then did all that, and then the skate shop and all that stuff, and I'm like, it's your turn. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want to do? What would you like to do? You know what I mean? What's your next adventure? And that's the store. You know what I mean? Right beside us. That's why she's
cool.
Going after that. So
I'm sure that makes her happy as hell too.
Oh yeah, she loves it. She's so excited when she called and said we had the building. She was running around the house. She was so happy,
cool,
and
cool.
I know it's gonna work. She's that woman. She will, and it'll be one of the coolest stores downtown. That's just how she is,
I can't wait. Yeah, Dixon's Main Street's obviously the heartbeat of any kind of downtown or even really city area, and what's going on downtown right now is so exciting. It's so exciting.
It's exploding. It is. It's
with good young business owners, and a lot of people don't even think about this, but I would hesitate to say that about 70% of downtown business owners are female too. There's a huge portion of them, or husband and wife, kind of paired up. But the DDA representation of the business owners is a large women-led organization. And
which is awesome.
It is. I mean, because they're creative as well. I mean, everybody's creative, but it just adds a nice mix to things, and it's not a full one side or full the other kind of thing. And Dixon's obviously open to it, and they're doing well too. I mean, the turnover in the past 5 years has slowed down significantly.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see a lot more foundation built, and then it's just going to expand from there. So.
It will. I mean, it's like my wife and of course Amanda from Plumfrey. They were on the Power Lunch with Elizabeth, which you just had Elizabeth on here too. And Elizabeth and Dolores have been friends for. She does her hair.
Okay,
they've been friends for I think like 15 years, 14 years, something like that. It's been a long time. So
cool.
We love Elizabeth.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she is awesome. So what's coming up next for Dixon? You're obviously one of those guys that's more, proactive than reactive when you see something that needs to get done. I mean, what are you seeing a couple of years down the road? I mean, even with kids or just development in general, what direction do you think it's going?
I do think it's going in a direction that's going to be more kid oriented. I mean, and that's really what I'm pushing the most because, even the adults, man, like we say that there's not a lot for kids to do, but there's not a lot for adults to do either till recently. That's why we're hoping that with our investment and stuff that we're getting into right now, that like this rec center is going to go down like the way I think it's going to go down. That way everyone has something to do. You know, you can go in there and you can go in there and skate or play pool or foosball or ride the dirt bike tracks or ride the BMX tracks or the Fuller track. You know what I mean? Like just anything, just a place where you know you can play basketball, whatever. You can go here, and this is like the place to go. And we're going to call it Brothers.
Cool.
Brothers Rec Center, you know, the skate park.
Yeah. And you're kind of combining a lot of things that, like, one of the only places to play basketball, outdoor basketball, is in Schrader Heights at the Housing Authority or at the Y.
Yeah.
You got to be a member to play over there.
Yeah.
So, now I guess, do they have goals in White Bluff?
They have the one
Okay.
right beside the skate park, but
That's
they don't
right.
have, like, it's not an actual court, you know,
Sure.
it's...
I love basketball. I'm a short white dude, you
Yeah.
know, but,
Yeah.
but I enjoy playing the game just in general.
Hey, it's just fun just to get out there and shoot around. I used to play a lot when I was younger,
Good
too.
exercise, too.
Just some cool stuff. I mean, I'm just trying to think, you know, some of it's selfish reasons.
Sure.
It is. I mean, what will I enjoy?
Sure.
I'm definitely enjoying an indoor skate park. I'll definitely enjoy a dirt bike track or a BMX track or a one-wheel track. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know not everyone's going to enjoy the things I do, but it seems like typically in the end they go, wait a second, that is kind of cool.
Yep.
It's something fun to do. And being backed up against Burns like that, like Burns is really starting to happen too. Like it's starting to really come up, you know what I mean? Which, of course, Morgan's awesome. She seems
so
like she's
great.
the one that's just
Heading off everything.
really driving that force, you know, and but Burns is doing the same thing. The growth, White Bluff also, the growth is like, you're seeing it's there, you know what I mean? It's happening. So that's where we're trying to kind of connect the dots, you know what I mean? And stuff. So it's
cool.
I don't know,
Just more entertainment, I think, is on the way.
That's it.
And,
I mean,
and quality entertainment. I'll say that. Quality entertainment to where, you know, you're competing pretty heavily with some of these bigger cities as far as, you know, you're not just throwing up, not you in particular, but just throwing up shit stuff, you know, just to have it. Like it's a well-run place with quality building material and quality amenities and things like that as well too.
Just done right. I mean, well, it's, you know, just give a shit.
Give a shit.
Just care.
Right.
I mean, I keep telling people that I'm like, man, you know, life should be passion driven at every moment. Like, I mean, it's just anything you do, put love into it, put passion into it. You know what I mean? And even if it's not like as good as this guy over here, who cares? Like, this old guy at work one time said, man, you know, the best you can do is the best you can do. Well, that's the best you can do. I said, that's the stupidest smart sentence I've ever heard in my life. But he's right. I mean, if you're doing your best and you care about what you're doing, then that's all that really matters. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it just give a shit.
Yeah, because then you can't, I mean, if people say something to you, you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
I did everything I could.
I tried really hard. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, and it's, I tried my best. You know, but people shouldn't be so critical anyways. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, I'm still, it's simple things like if you're, you know, I guess a good example would be like if you see a car passing you and two people are arguing and slapping each other, you know what I mean? It don't matter. You don't know which one is the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you can't always assume, like, things aren't always what you see or what they seem, you know, and that's why I tell my wife a lot. Me and her live by that too. We'll be like, okay, well, you know, just no one in particular, but we're like, hey, well, this person seems really cool, but this person, their wife seems like an asshole, or their husband seems like an asshole. But I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Sure, not at all.
Don't make assumptions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't just, that's the most deadly thing in the world, is just assuming that things are what you see. You know what I mean? Like, it's you can't.
I told Steve last week, critical thinking is something of the past in today's world. It seems like, you know, it's just people, they take things at surface level and move on, you know, and believe it, you know, and like you said, I mean, you said two of the words that are in kind of my daily routine as far as, I don't know, have you ever read The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz?
I have not. But
Yeah,
I'll
it's
put
so
that on the
good.
list.
Yeah, it's, so there's, do your best, be impeccable with your word, never take anything personally, and never assume anything.
Yeah.
And you just live your days, you know, in and out just like that. I mean, how you because nobody can mess with you and you don't mess with anybody else. And like you said, stay in your lane.
A lot of it's happening. I call it my favorite term. It's the numbing and dumbing of a nation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first thing they pull from, back to school systems, the first thing they pull from is school systems to kind of dumb things down. I mean, like, simple examples like, not that North is better than South or either or, but when I moved from Connecticut to West Virginia my freshman year, I had the same books I had in 6th grade as a freshman in high school.
Oh, wow.
Which was gnarly. I was of course I dropped out. Sure. I did. At some point I was just like, I'm done with this. Like, I mean, by your standards, I can graduate.
Sure.
Like, what is
Should have graduated in 6th grade, yeah.
My youngest son, very much so failed 5th grade, 8th grade, both. Which, 8th grade's kind of understandable. Last year was gnarly, know. But I was like, well, I was talking to the teacher. I said, I told him that when you repeat the 5th grade, that's on you. That's your consequence. You know what I mean? I said, no, sir. He will go on to the next grade because his standardized testing scores are great.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm like, so what's he getting? So when he gets a job, he's going to expect a raise when he does a shitty job?
Sure.
And like, no, they're like, you can hold him back. I'm like, that's not my job. That's your job.
Yeah. He's
in school. You know what I mean? That's you're to teach him there's consequences for his actions, And it just blows my mind that's no child left behind is why that's happening. You know what I mean? And
last place trophies.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, don't get me into that. I coached for 2 years, my son, and I told the other coaches, I was like, you guys can hand them damn things out, but I'm not going to put my hands on them.
No.
My son was right there. He's like, I don't want that damn thing. I didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? I didn't win any. I wasn't the best. I shouldn't get the trophy. You can't. I mean, it's right down to the sentence of, well, I just want my kids to have better than I had.
Yeah.
Well, at some point that has to stop. I mean, I had a good childhood. I don't want them to have any better than I had.
Sure.
I had a good childhood. I don't want them to go down lay block for 20 years and realize it's a dead-end career. Sure. You know what I mean? Because all the companies dropped out of the union and we're not paying the retirement, yada, yada. I still have 12 years retirement now, but
cool.
Still, I don't want them to go down that road, and I'd like them to realize dreams and goals at a younger age than what I did. But they don't need better than what I had. I had a damn good childhood, Sure. We didn't want for anything that I can think of, we know what the word no was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no. All right.
I got it. Whoa.
Yeah.
Right. I'll figure something else out.
Dad says jump, and I say, is this high enough? You know what I mean? Like it's
sir, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing is people, they perpetuate their the entitlement. You know what I mean? Like kids think they're owed everything. The entitlement, disposable world.
Sure.
Everything's disposable. You know what I mean? Like
well, it's because everything happens so quick. Everything happens just so fucking quick all the time, man. I mean, all these, you're just scrolling, and your relationships are so surface level because a lot of them are online based or efficiency based, and quality sometimes goes out the window and turns into just quantity, and it goes back to this school thing of just teach for the test, get them in and out, get them in the workforce, boom, and let's just keep that cycle going, and everybody just drones into the 9 to 5. They drone out. They suck into the TV.
It's Joe versus the Volcano. Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Tom Hanks moved out. Meg Ryan.
Okay.
Long time, old movie. But the beginning of it, that's it. He walks in and it's like all these people like drudging into work, like the mud on their boots, and they're like businessmen with their, that song's playing. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? It's playing.
Yeah.
Getting there, he's sitting down, and the lights are flickering, the fluorescence, and he just, just a miserable rut of a life, just the redundancy. Kudos to the people that can, but I am not a redundant person. I cannot I can't just keep punching things out, you know what I mean? And he just keeps on going, and then they tell him, this doctor tells him he has a brain fog, and he's not going to live past whatever, It's a made-up thing. And this guy talks him into taking this ship to this place called Waponi Woo. They love Orange Crush drink, and he jumps in the volcano to kill himself and satisfy this tribe's god.
Okay.
But the thing about it is there's plenty of monetary value on the island for the guy of interests.
Okay.
The guy hired the doctor to tell him this. But he didn't live his life until he thought he was going to die. Yeah. And that's a hard one to swallow. Like, you can't, I mean, you just can't. You have to. Time is taken for granted. Time is so taken for granted. I was telling Steve that earlier at lunch. I said, whether you're religious or not, everyone lives every day off blind faith, and they have no idea they're even doing it. I don't know if I hope I get in my car and make it home okay from here.
Sure.
But that's not owed to me. It's not guaranteed, and I'm not going to take that for granted. You know what I mean?
And I put that post on Facebook as far as, what if there was no Labor Day? And I had a couple of people comment, yeah, that'd be nice, but, never going to happen. And, or what you're describing there is called retirement. And I'm like, ugh, work 50, 60, 70 years to just live for the additional maybe 20.
When you're not even old enough, you're too old to even enjoy it.
Too old to enjoy it. Oh, it's it's rough, man.
We went in 2019 before everything got crazy, and been watching a lot of Going RV. I don't know if you ever watch Going. No. I love those shows, man. Like, they just go and look at campers.
That's awesome.
Just the idea of it, Like, I used to love going to look at mobile homes when they had them set up. I used to just go and look around. This is cool, And we went to look at campers. We'd been watching too much Going RV, and we left that day with a camper. And our camper sits out at King Creek Marina out in Danville. It's right there on Kentucky Lake. We pay for all year. It's 50 minutes from here, and it's blissful. You know what I mean? That was our thing. We got to where, like, Florida, man, every year for a week's $5,000 with 4 kids, and got to pay someone to watch the animals and yada yada. And so, what do? We found a way around it. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Well, this is 50 minutes away. It sits there all year. It's hard piped in, water, electric, all's included. We go in, and let's slide out, and we start fishing and drinking beer and grilling.
And you don't have to deal with dragging your shit to the sand.
No, there's nothing, man. And my wife was like, it's not. I love the beach. I grew up on the beach because my dad rode submarines. We had to be on the coast. Yeah. But she's like, you're right. It's not. It's about the water. It's about just being there, the water itself. And I'm like, I told you, it's not about. The beach is lovely. It's great and all that. Everyone. I want to live on the beach, but I'm like, one good hurricane and you won't. I'm 42, dude. So, like, we lived in South Carolina when Hugo hit. You know what I mean? It was like a 5+,
Yeah.
No, I saw the destruction. I'm like, no, it's, But it is just about, who spontaneously goes to look at campers and buys a $35,000 camper?
Sure.
It was on sale. We got it way cheaper than
right. You
but still, but still,
that sounds like your wife talking there. But honey, it's a deal.
Yeah, I think it was probably the other way. It was me going, baby. No, this is. We're gonna do this because I'm definitely more spontaneous. Like, cool. I mean, she has to reel me in sometimes. I'm a terrible dreamer. I'm like, she's like, we got to get this warehouse cleaned out first. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, but I'm already talking to people about the skate park. That I'm gonna put in there. She's like, come on, one thing at a time. Let's get through it. You know what I mean? And I dream constantly. I'm a daydreamer. Cool. But I mean, dreams become goals, become reality. That's where.
That's how life works.
Yep, that's how it works. So I'm definitely just the one that's more. But for her to be that spontaneous too. She's just very spontaneous at points with things. But with a big purchase, she was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And we took it to Montgomery Bell a couple times, Nashville Shores, which was rad. It was right across the other side of the parking lot.
Oh, cool.
So you can got season passes, just swim all day for 2 days and come back, and we're yuppies. We had internet put in our camper out at King.
Glamper.
Yeah, it's great.
Glamper.
It's glamping, 100%. I mean, like, we have a fire stick in our bedroom.
Okay.
Whatever we were watching the night before at the house, we're watching it at the camper. You know what I mean? And so, but it was gnarly. Like, after playing PlayStation the day after Christmas by fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. Camping's changed. Bonner got canceled this year, speaking of camping.
I did see that.
There's a lot of people that were pissed. I did see a lot of surrounding towns do like a Bonnaroo refugee kind of thing. So they got a hold of some of the bands, smaller bands that were supposed to play and drug them out, and they were able to perform, a couple different places. I think Nashville did a few, and
mean, hell, people were planning already to be here.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure a lot of people.
Muddy Roots went down though.
Oh yeah.
It did happen.
Yeah. Cool.
I got invited to play drums at that.
Did you?
It was. My buddy worked it out, but it was kind of a last minute thing. He knew that it's kind of weird. I was bragging on myself a little bit, but he knew that I was the one that could pull it off. It happened. He had a band before, and the reason I got to meet everyone in Nashville when I played music, when people figured out who I was, he called and he said, "Our drummer quit Wednesday, and we have a show tonight." Oh shit! I was like, well, "What the fuck do you want me to?" I mean, are you kidding me? Like, this is double time thrash punk. It's like 11 songs. I mean, I've been playing that my whole life, but what do you really? I don't know your songs. What do you want me to do? Come on, man. Come on, just come out. So I went out and played with him for before the show for about a half an hour. Just jammed around. I got the gist of it. Made some little crib notes, little drum notes where the changes were at, and then literally for an hour before the show, sat in my truck. That's when I was younger, and listened to CD and drank beer and liquor, and went in and played the whole fucking show. The whole show, and everyone was just like, they're all the lead singer. I was on the mic, and he was just like, "Man, how about this? This dude has played with us for 30 minutes earlier and just played our whole show." And everyone's like, "Who the fuck are you, man?"
Pounding beer and liquor.
Yeah. And same thing happened when I record. You can, my last album you can get on Bandcamp.
Okay.
And download it for free. Working Class Brawlers. And same thing happened there. We lost our drummer the night before over drug issues. I was like, and I was like, "Well, what are you going to do? You have studio time booked tomorrow." Mm-hmm. I'm like, "I'm going to go play the fucking drums."
Sure.
And that's exactly what I did. I went in there. I played drums for 9 hours that day.
Oh, my God.
And I wrote and recorded the drums for the entire CD.
Wow.
In that one day.
That is unbelievable.
Hands were bleeding. I was all, it was hardcore. But so like the album is me playing guitar and singing, lead singer, and then me playing the drums also.
Wow. Okay, so you were singing too.
Yeah.
Cool.
The past 2 bands I started here, I've been the lead singer, songwriter of all of them. So
the music scene in Dixon is just awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's and with the space that you've got is so perfect for that, because I don't think that there's any really. I mean, y'all kind of lucked out's not a good way to go about it, but. That space coming, in tandem with what you all have.
Oh yeah.
And you all kind of having some control over it as well too is just perfect, because then, I mean, there's no real venue around here that will dedicate, their time to anything other than quote unquote special events for the most part. Now that, now you've got events on Main, but it's a different atmosphere over there. But now that there's like a, for anybody that hasn't been upstairs and seen that, it's gorgeous. It is. It's like a set up.
It's like a cool Viking bar.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
The original 35-foot long Western cedar beams from the building are exposed, and it's just it's a beautiful area up there. And
to have that, like you said, to just be consistent on the days of music this night or stand up this night or open mic or whatever it may be, to have that available is just going to be another
Well, and as a skate park opens too, like we're gonna have the skate camps for kids where you can drop them off during the day where you're working, and we feed them and let them skate at the park and all that stuff. And that, to me, that's just gonna help with there's an area for me to take the kids. You know what I mean? And I know some people have talked about some movie nights and stuff up there or whatever. And Morgan said something about getting some burlesque dancers to come in.
Yeah,
I was like, that's cool.
That
Let's
would be
just
sweet.
Some plays or something, just a little bit of culture, you know what I mean? Throw some culture in there and just kind of
show these people some stuff they ain't never seen.
You know what I mean? And it did, and that was an agreement with the owners of the building. There was 2 other people that wanted the building also, and I think they went with us because we were more symbiotic with what was going to happen upstairs. Skate shop, coffee shop, And I talked to Amanda about letting me build a little stage up front and downstairs too, just for karaoke nights or for someone to play acoustic downstairs, so it's not that way it kind of adds. It's just a stage for bingo, you know what I mean? Like just something small right there in the front that kind of just works a little bit better, you know what I mean? And it'll draw people in more. And so
some nice acoustic music with some coffee and beer is always good.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, I'll be in there do some acoustic punk rock.
That's just get in there and solo drum the whole time. Cool. Well, shoot, we're at an hour 20, man.
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
just
dude.
been vibing.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a good conversation.
Yeah, you're a good dude, man. Yeah, and I really, in all honesty, respect the shit out of you for what you're doing with the kids too, and how aggressive you're being about the situation. Not in a bad way, but like,
Yeah.
you know, like you said, you're a daydreamer, but it's just like boom, boom. You know,
Yep.
it's like think about it. Let's just start one. You know, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. You know,
And that's what. That's
kudos to you for that.
people were like, "Man, it happened so quick." I'm like, "It did." I mean, we didn't.
Yeah.
We never saw it coming. Like it happened quick.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of.
And there's not too terribly many other people. You know, people care about children. Obviously, they're not just a bunch of sociopaths running around town. But, you know, to take the initiative to really, literally put something in concrete and start there and you know, hone in what typically seems. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess the skateboarder kind of group is a little younger for the most part.
Yes, yeah, most
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
There's a lot of dudes that are getting back into it now. Like
Cool.
it's really starting to
Cool.
pick back up. Like I have a lot of friends, you know, they're just like, "Hey, man, I think I want to get a board again and start riding again." I'm like, "Yo, it's awesome. It kind of keeps you
Yeah.
young. You know what I mean? Feeling young. You know,
Cool.
you don't feel young when you fall down, but I mean, it's still
yeah, and a couple days after too. I know that's how it was with the one wheel. Like I fell and I was being an idiot one night with Justin downtown, and I thought I could jump this curb.
That's what he said.
Yeah, dude, and I just did a full on barrel roll, spilt my drink, you know, landed on my shoulder, and my elbow went in kind of my rib, and I wasn't bleeding too bad. But I woke up the next morning and felt like I got hit by Mike Tyson. Like just like my whole side and everything.
I don't ever tell the kids that though, or my wife. I just kind of just suffer in silence. I flipped a go-kart about 2 years ago, and it was on the pavement. You know what I mean? I was doing about 30 miles an hour.
Sure.
I mean, I had the roll cage, but you know, of course, my seatbelt wasn't on.
Sure.
So I'm sliding on my hip and my elbow, and my youngest son comes running over, and I got out and flipped it over. I was like, "Yeah," he's mortified. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough, son." Yeah. And I roll it over, start it, take off. And my wife, she's like, "You can't be doing this. You're 40." And I was like, "I'm gonna keep doing this till I can't do it no more." Like I mean, it's just.
It's only the way to live.
Yeah, sometimes a good fall makes you reminds yourself you're alive. You know what I mean?
It does. What was that? The scar. Who sings that song? The scars remind us that the past is real.
Yeah.
Tear my heart open. Is that Eve 6?
I think that is Eve 6, dude.
Yeah. What a great band.
But that's the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like even on my guitar I've had for years, I could pick up the back and be like, "Well, that ding is my 30th birthday." That ding, you know, it's like they're there. It has a story to tell all its own. So do scars, you know. So
cool, good conversation.
Absolutely.
This will not be the last one either. Yeah, and we'll briefly mention about you trying to get a podcast started up as well too.
Absolutely, right? I am excited about that. I think that not that we don't speak freely on this podcast.
Understood.
But I would love to start one where
something
it's just
that's
kind of
very open.
Well, you're very open and like less accountability.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? To where we can just really say what's
on
our minds. We get to know the people, like what's deep inside, and them not have to worry about getting as ridiculed in town.
Okay.
Or from peers. I mean,
judged.
So we're gonna try to keep it on the.
It's a good concept.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Cool. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah, again, I'm excited. Cool. All right. Do you want to plug any of your socials?
No, I think I'm good, man. I think we kind of hit them all along the way. You know what I mean? I think we're
cool. Well, you can find them right downtown on Main Street in the old Morgan's building, right next to Pumphrey's. And I guess y'all have got the shop in High Cotton too. Still the little clothing jewelry place. No, you moved all that over.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's all moved out because we're opening up the new store beside us.
Yep. Okay. Cool, and big things to come with the event space upstairs. So it's gonna be like a blank canvas. I'm pumped about that.
Yeah,
I may just throw a dance party up there or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some themed ones. We talked about that, like some 1920s or I was watching iCarly with my kids one time when we were younger, and it was so funny. I'm saying iCarly, but you know, and it stuck in my head. They had these parties like where the person next to you, like you drew a name out of a hat.
Okay.
And you had to pick which character they were. Like this one, like the one was it was Victorious. So the show. This one was she was a cop from Brooklyn that chewed too much gum, or liked to eat cereal or something like that. And if you broke character, like you had to leave the party.
Oh shit.
So I was like, that's kind of rad. You know what I mean? Like but you're not the one picking your character. Somebody else is.
Wow.
So just some neat,
I would like that.
different fun, like just
get people out of their box.
Yeah, just try to get them to
back to breaking out of the box.
Enjoy life a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
it's one of the reasons I make people come up. I don't make, but I do offer an opportunity for people to come up and tell a joke at trivia. After round 3, anybody that has a joke, good or bad, because people fear public speaking over death. I'm like, whoa. Wow.
Yeah. It was a big deal going from being the drummer to the lead singer. And I loved it. In the end, I was like, that's where I want to be. I'm much better at drums than anything else, but I wanted to be...
It's so freeing.
Yeah, I like being up front, man. It's just getting the crowd involved and, just...
Giving them something they didn't know they wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom, right there. Yeah. Cool. All right, well, thank you guys for listening. Really appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe. Subscribers are going up pretty good. I think I've got a social media class next week, solo one, to help me figure out social media a little bit better before really jump things off. So good. Appreciate it, guys. Comment, too. Interact as much as you'd like to. Let me know what you think about the episode. Be sure to go see Jimmy and his wife and his entire family, pretty much, down at Ollie's. Grab you some coffee while you're over there. Hang out. Enjoy downtown. It's getting to be a really special place. So once again, thanks, guys, for listening. And until next time, peace. Thanks again to Sassy Pop Boutique for sponsoring this episode. If you are looking for the right fit and style for this upcoming season, feel free to reach out to their fashion professionals on their socials at Sassy Pop Boutique on Facebook and Sassy Pop Boutique Dixon on Instagram, or head on over to their website at sassypopboutique.com for 24-hour shopping and nationwide shipping. If you're interested in sponsoring an episode, please reach out to me directly via email at yourvibespodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and always remember, stay vibey, my friends.